What's good? We back. TBC in the building. It's your boy CJ Goodfella. And shout out to IFL TV. I'm gonna link this interview in the description. They did with Demtrius Andrade, whatever you want to call him. He thoroughly explains why the Serhiy Derevianchenko fight didn't happen. Let's get into it. You know, we almost into the new year. I know they in the new year in Dubai, Russia, and all that. So if you listening from there, Happy New Year. And then we in New Year's Eve right now on Eastern Standard Time. But you know, he says that in the Lantes Fox fight, he suffered 2 injuries. He said he got hit on the quad and his quad was hurting. He said you could look at the tape and see that his team was rubbing his quad. He said he had a bicep injury as well and was trying to ice it down. He said immediately after they got out the ring, they threw a few names at him that I have never heard before. It was an undefeated UK fighter, another fighter from somewhere else. They said, we want you, to fight December 16th on the Billy Joe Saunders and Lemieux undercard fight. I want you to be the co-feature. He said, they told him, HBO, I'm guessing that's what he's talking about, told him through his manager or him, yeah, let's see how you feel. He said, he told him, see how you feel. He just fought and said, he was dealing with some injuries or whatsoever. Then they said, he said that 3 weeks before the fight, they bring up this Serhiy Derevianchenko guy. And he says a guy that's 13-1 or 13 and whatever his record is, he said a 3-week notice. He said I wasn't fighting him in 3 weeks notice. He said I basically said he didn't care who it was. He said that was too close and he still was dealing with injuries. He told them that he'd be ready January, February or something like that when he should be ready and healed up. And it is what it is. This dude, man, you gotta just watch the interview. Remember the interview, the IFL boxing interview is in the link. It's in the description. The link is in the description. It just sounds like a bunch of rubbish, man. Maybe because his track record, man, with not fighting and being inactive. That's what happens when you're inactive. He only fought 2 times this year. In the previous 3 years, he only fought once each year. So he's been real inactive. And when you're not active in a real fight, you can't simulate a real fight in the gym. When you're not active, that's when you get injured. Any little thing you do, you get injured. And in the ring, he ain't been active. And, he says that, what's the point of him fighting the Derevianchenko guy? Well, it gets you nothing. But he says that, then he found out that, he was the IBF manager in Triple G belt. He said that'd be good. That could get me one step closer to Triple G. Said, but Triple G, I can be the manager in Triple G and just drop the belt and say, forget it. He said belts mean nothing at this point. Says the fans want to see me with Triple G, Canelo, Billy Joe Saunders, and Danny Jacobs, whoever else he said. They want to see him versus top middleweights, and that's what the fans want. That's what people want to see. Really, we just want to see you get back in the ring and get active. I don't care about who you fight. I just rather see you get active. I don't really think fans really, care about who you jump back in the ring with at this point. They just want to see you active. Derevianchenko would be a good fight. Rayaldi would be a good fight, but if this guy's only 13 fights or 12 fights, whatever you got, what's the excuse then? I understand you was dealing with an injury. So, the beginning of next year, let's see what's going on. He said he would usually respond, but it was the manager talking. If the fighter was talking, he would have, rebutted and fired off on Serhiy Derevianchenko. But he said it was the manager popping off at the mouth at articles, and he's right. But at the end of the day, when you got a track record of being inactive, a duck, and pulling out over money, and you ain't did nothing, that's my problem. Guys like him, Anthony Joshua, that cry about money and they think they are entitled to stuff, but they not entitled to nothing. You haven't done anything, especially Andrade. AJ neither. He beat the old Vladimir Klitschko. Big fucking deal. These guys have done nothing, especially Andrade. He had a plethora, well, a lot. I said plethora. A lot of fighters at 154 where he could have scoped his legacy and been a pound-for-pound fighter right now. But he chose to go to scary Rudy Tootie way and prancing around and not being active and fighting the Willie Nelsons and Vandas Rosarosian and ducking the Lars, ducking the Charlos, ducking the whoever. And we'll see. The moment of truth be after the new year if he can make this Serhiy Derevianchenko fight happen. That'd be the moment of truth. Or he gonna sit around, be inactive again, and fight the 2 more fights he got left on his HBO deal and just had him kick him to the curb and they see him for what he really is. A guy that runs his mouth and don't run his hands. And that's real talk. He should take the Derevianchenko fight. He'd be the Triple G mandatory. And what could it hurt? Who else you gonna fight? You know, you don't want to fight Danny Jacobs. You say y'all too close. Billy Joe Saunders not gonna mess up his money with a potential Triple G fight. I mean, you pulled out versus Charlo already. Do you want to fight Ryota? I mean, who knows if that can happen or not. I mean, who can he fight? He should just take that fight, shut up. He making all these excuses, my arm, my shoulder. I feel you. You healed up. After the new year, we'll see what's going on. You should take that fight and get the fight date, period. If you don't take that fight and take a lesser fight or just be inactive, I mean, it is what it is. I've been done with this guy, But he had a valid excuse. He said he was injured, and I believe him because when you're not active and you get into the heat of the war and you start using your muscles in ways you can't use them in the gym, with the anxiety and the energy in the arena, in 12-round fights, you're going to get injured. That's what happens. He got to be more active, and hopefully he step in the ring versus Serhiy Derevianchenko or somebody else that's formidable. But at this point, I just got to believe it, believe it till I see it, man. I won't believe it till I see it with this guy. This guy is number one on my Duck Goose radar, tied with Leo Santa Cruz at this point in his career. Talented guy, but mentally weak in my opinion. We gone.